"Maria, you're the only one who can save her." My father's words hit me like a freight train as I sat in their living room, staring at my sister Christine sobbing into our mother's shoulder. The fertility specialist had just delivered the final blow. Christine would never carry a child. After 3 years of treatments, surgeries and hope, it was over. "My name is Maria, and I've spent 28 years being the backup daughter. The one who got decent grades while Christine got perfect ones. The one who had nice boyfriends while Christine married her college sweetheart. The one who worked steady jobs while Christine built her dream career. I was always fine, always okay, always there." "I can't ask that of her," Christine whispered, but her eyes found mine across the room. Those same blue eyes that had always gotten her everything she wanted. "Of course you can," Mom said, stroking Christine's hair. "Maria would do anything for family, wouldn't you, sweetheart?" The room went silent. Dad leaned forward in his chair, his expression serious. Christine's husband, Cade, shifted uncomfortably on the couch. Everyone was looking at me like I held the key to Christine's happiness, and maybe I did. "What exactly are you asking?" I said, though I already knew. "Surrogacy," Dad said bluntly. "You carry a baby for Christine and Cade. Their embryo, your body." Christine sat up straighter. "I know it's huge, Maria. I know it's asking everything of you, but you're my sister. You're the only person I'd trust with something this precious. Trust. When was the last time Christine had trusted me with anything? When we were kids, maybe, before she realised I was competition for our parents' attention. Before she learned she didn't need to worry about that. Think about it," Mom added. "You'd be giving Christine the greatest gift imaginable. You'd be a hero." A hero. I'd never been anyone's hero before. "I need time to think," I said. "Of course," Christine said quickly. "Take all the time you need, but Maria..." She reached across the coffee table and grabbed my hand. "This would mean everything to me. Everything." I drove home to my tiny apartment in a daze. My phone buzzed with texts from my best friend Trinity, asking how dinner with the family went. I couldn't even begin to explain. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about Christine's face, the desperation, the hope, the way Mom and Dad had looked at me like I actually mattered for once. Growing up, I'd learned early that love in our family was conditional. Christine got praise for her A's, while my B's were met with, "You could do better." Christine's achievements were celebrated with family dinners, while mine were acknowledged with a pat on the head. When Christine got married, it was the wedding of the century. When I brought boyfriends home, Dad barely looked up from his newspaper. I wasn't bitter about it, or at least I told myself I wasn't. It was just how things were. Christine was special. I was ordinary. She was the star. I was the supporting cast, but now they needed me. For the first time in my life, I was the only one who could give them what they wanted. My phone rang. Christine. "I'm sorry for ambushing you tonight," she said. "I know it's a lot to process." "It is. I keep thinking about when we were little. Remember how you used to say you'd do anything to help me? When I was scared of the dark, you'd sleep in my room. When I broke Mom's vase, you took the blame." I remembered. I also remembered how she'd stopped needing my help the moment she realised she could get everything she wanted without it. "This is different, Christine." "I know, but Maria, I'm desperate. Cade and I have been trying for so long. This is our last chance. Our only chance." Her voice cracked and I felt that familiar tug in my chest. The need to fix things, to make everyone happy, to finally be the daughter who saved the day. "If I did this," I said slowly, "things would be different. Between us, between me and Mum and Dad, everything would be different," she promised. "You'd be part of this baby's life forever. You'd be the aunt who made it all possible. We'd never forget what you did for us." After I hung up, I sat in the dark for hours. I thought about the empty nursery in my parents' house that they prepared for grandchildren who never came. I thought about Christine's tears. I thought about finally being the daughter who mattered. By morning, I'd made my decision. I was going to save my sister. I was going to be the hero. I had no idea I was walking into the biggest betrayal of my life. "Maria, there she is!" Mum's voice rang across the restaurant as I walked in for our family dinner. She actually stood up and hugged me. A real hug. Not the usual quick pat on the shoulder. It had been 6 weeks since I'd agreed to be Christine's surrogate, and the pregnancy test had come back positive 3 days ago. Suddenly, I was the most important person in the room. How are you feeling? Any morning sickness? Are you eating enough? Mom fired off questions while guiding me to the chair they'd saved. The good chair. The one with the cushion that Christine usually claimed. I'm fine, Mom. Just a little tired. That's completely normal, Christine said, beaming. She looked radiant, like she was the one carrying the baby. I've been reading everything about first trimester symptoms. We need to make sure you're getting enough folic acid. I noticed she'd been saying that a lot lately. Dad raised his wine glass to Maria, our family's guardian angel. Guardian angel? I felt my cheeks flush as everyone toasted. Cade smiled at me across the table, his eyes grateful. Even Christine's usual competitive edge seemed softer. I have something for you, Christine said, sliding an envelope across the table. I wrote this last night. Inside was a card with a photo of a sunset. Christine's handwriting covered the inside. Maria, I don't have words for what you're doing for us. You're giving me the one thing I want most in the world. This baby will know that Aunt Maria is the reason they exist. You're not just carrying our child. You're carrying our dreams, our future, our everything. I love you more than I can say. Forever grateful, Christine. Christine. I felt tears prick my eyes. Don't cry. You'll make me cry, she laughed, reaching over to squeeze my hand. I mean every word. The next few months were like living in a different family. Mum called me daily to check on the baby. Dad actually asked about my job, my life, my thoughts on things. Christine and I had lunch every week, shopping for maternity clothes and talking about nursery themes. We're thinking of the room at Mom and Dad's, Christine said over salad one afternoon. The one with the big windows facing the garden. Perfect for a nursery. That's my old room, I said. Was your old room? You don't live there anymore, and it's perfect for the baby. Mom's already started clearing it out. I felt a small pang, but pushed it away. This was about the baby, not me. Plus, Christine continued, you'll practically be living there anyway during your maternity leave. Mum insists on taking care of you both. Both. The baby and me. Like we were a package deal. The attention was intoxicating. For the first time in my life, I was the centre of our family's universe. Mum brought me homemade soup when I had morning sickness. Dad installed a handrail in my apartment bathroom without being asked. Christine sent me daily texts checking on our little miracle. At my 12-week appointment, Christine and Cade came with me. We all cried when we heard the heartbeat. The technician printed extra copies of the ultrasound, one for each of us. Look at that perfect little profile, Christine whispered, staring at the grainy image. Our baby. Your baby, I corrected gently. Our baby, she repeated firmly. This is a family effort. After the appointment, we went to lunch to celebrate. Christine pulled out her phone and started showing me Pinterest boards she'd created. I've been thinking about names. What do you think of Oliver for a boy? Or maybe James? Those are nice. And for a girl, I love Emma. Or possibly Sarah, after Cade's grandmother. Cade nodded along, but I noticed he kept glancing at me like he wanted to say something. What about you, Maria? He asked finally. Any names you like? Christine's smile tightened almost imperceptibly. Well, it's really our decision, isn't it? I mean, Maria's doing the physical work, but we're the parents. Of course, I said quickly. I was just curious about your thoughts. The moment passed, but something felt different. A tiny crack in the perfect picture we'd been painting. That night, Christine called me. I hope you didn't feel left out today. About the names, I mean. Not at all. Good. Because, Maria, I need you to know how much this means to me, to us. You're making our family complete. After we hung up, I lay in bed with my hand on my barely visible bump. For 4 months I'd been the hero of this story, the beloved daughter, the cherished sister. I should have known it was too good to last. My phone buzzed with a text from Christine. Can't wait to bring our baby home to the nursery. It's going to be perfect. Our baby, our nursery, our family. I was starting to wonder where exactly I fit in that equation. The first sign something was wrong came at 18 weeks. Christine had been dodging my calls for 3 days. She's just busy with work, Mum said when I finally called her. You know how demanding her job is. But Christine had never been too busy to check on the baby before. She'd been texting me daily, sometimes hourly, asking about symptoms and cravings and doctor appointments. I drove to her house that Saturday morning, Cade's car wasn't in the driveway, which was weird for a weekend. I knocked on the door. Maria! Christine opened it, wearing a silk robe at noon, her hair messy. What are you doing here? You haven't been answering my calls. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. Everything's fine. I'm just going through some things right now. Behind her, I heard a male voice call out, Chris, who's at the door? Christine's face went white. The voice definitely wasn't Cade's. Is that? I started. Look, this isn't a good time, Christine said quickly, trying to close the door. Christine, what's going on? Where's Cade? She sighed and opened the door wider. A guy I'd never seen before walked up behind her, shirtless, clearly comfortable in her house. This is Sean, Christine said. Sean, this is my sister Maria. Sean looked at my obvious pregnancy bump and grinned. Oh, the surrogate! Nice to meet you. The surrogate. Not Christine's sister, not Maria. The surrogate. Where's Cade? I asked again. We're separated, Christine said flatly. I moved out last week. Separated? Christine, you're about to have a baby. We're about to have a baby, Sean corrected, wrapping his arm around Christine's waist. Can't wait to be a dad. I stared at them. What? Sean and I are together now, Christine said. Cade and I. It wasn't working. We grew apart. You grew apart while I'm carrying your baby? It's complicated, Maria. No, it's not complicated. You're married. You have a baby coming. Look, Sean said. These things happen. Christine deserves to be happy, right? And I'm going to be an amazing father to this kid. You're not the father, I said. Biology doesn't make a father, he replied smoothly. Love does. And I love Christine and this baby already. I felt dizzy. I need to sit down. Maybe you should go home, Christine said. I'll call you later when we can talk properly. Talk properly? Christine, what about Cade? What about our agreement? Our agreement was about giving me a baby. That hasn't changed. Everything has changed. Christine's expression hardened. Maria, I know this is a shock, but my personal life is my business. What matters is the baby. I drove straight to Mum and Dad's house. They had to know about this. They had to help me figure out what this meant. Oh, honey, Mom said when I told her. We know. Christine called us yesterday. You know? And you're okay with this? We want Christine to be happy, Dad said. If Cade wasn't making her happy. But what about the baby? What about their marriage? Christine is an adult, Mom said. She can make her own choices. What about my choices? I agreed to carry a baby for Christine and Cade, not Christine and some random guy. The baby is still Christine's baby, Dad said. That hasn't changed. I spent the next week trying to process everything. Cade called me devastated. She just left, he said, his voice broken. Packed her things while I was at work and moved in with him. I don't even know how long it's been going on. What does this mean for the baby? I don't know. My lawyer says it's complicated. The baby is biologically mine, but if Christine doesn't want to be married to me... This is insane. Maria, I'm sorry. I know this isn't what you signed up for. At least someone understood that. When I went to my parents' house the following weekend, I got the biggest shock yet. The nursery, my old room, was completely different. The crib was gone. The changing table was gone. Instead, there was a king-size bed and men's clothes scattered around. Mum? I called out. She appeared in the doorway looking guilty. Oh, Maria, I was going to call you. What happened to the nursery? Well, Christine and Sean needed a place to stay while they looked for their own place, and since you're not living here anymore... But what about the baby? Where is the baby going to sleep? They'll figure something out. Maybe the guest room. I stood there staring at the bed where my baby's crib was supposed to be, where Christine's new boyfriend's clothes were thrown on the dresser I'd picked out for baby clothes. I can't believe this. Maria, be reasonable. Christine needs our support right now. She's going through a difficult transition. I'm the one who's pregnant. I'm the one carrying this baby. And we appreciate that, sweetheart. But Christine is our daughter too, and she needs us. I walked downstairs in a daze. Dad was in the kitchen making coffee. Dad, did you know they gave away the nursery? He didn't look up. Christine needs a place to stay. What about the baby? The baby will be fine. Christine will work it out. I heard voices from the living room, Mom talking to someone on the phone. I know it's complicated, Mom was saying, but Maria needs to understand her role here. She's just the incubator. Christine is the mother. Just the incubator. I stood frozen in the hallway, my hand on my growing belly. Just the incubator. I left my parents' house that day and didn't go back. Everyone expected me to fall apart, to beg for forgiveness, to accept whatever scraps they threw my way. Instead, I went home and started taking screenshots. Every text message, every voicemail, every email about the surrogacy arrangement. I saved them all in a folder on my phone labelled Evidence. Trinity came over that night with ice cream and wine. Well, ice cream for me. I can't believe they said that, she said, after I told her about the incubator comment. Your own mother. I recorded it, I said, showing her my phone. I started recording our conversations after Christine left Cade. I had a feeling things were going to get worse. Smart. What are you going to do? I'm going to call a lawyer. Trinity nearly choked on her wine. Seriously. Dead serious. I looked up the surrogacy agreement Christine and I signed. There are clauses about both intended parents being present and committed to the arrangement. Cade's out of the picture now, and Sean was never part of the original agreement. But Christine's still the biological mother, right? Actually, no. I'm the biological mother. They used my egg and Cade's sperm because Christine's eggs weren't viable. The agreement was that I'd give up parental rights to both of them after birth. Trinity's eyes widened. Both of them. But if Cade's not in the picture anymore, then the agreement is void. I called 3 law firms the next morning. The first 2 said they didn't handle surrogacy cases. The third one, Dixon and Associates, agreed to see me that afternoon. Ethan Dixon was nothing like I expected. Mid-40s, calm, wearing a simple grey suit. He listened to my story without interrupting, occasionally taking notes. Do you have the original surrogacy agreement? He asked. I handed him the folder I'd prepared. Everything's in there. The original contract, text messages, recorded conversations, photos of the nursery before and after. He flipped through the documents, his expression unreadable. Maria, I need to ask you something important. What do you want out of this? Do you want to keep the baby, or do you want compensation for the breach of contract? I want to keep the baby. Are you prepared to be a single mother? I'm already doing this alone. At least now it would be my choice. He leaned back in his chair. Your family breached the surrogacy agreement in multiple ways. The intended father is no longer part of the arrangement. The intended mother has introduced a third party who was never vetted or approved. They failed to provide the promised support and housing arrangements. So what does that mean? It means you have full parental rights to this child. The surrogacy agreement is null and void. I felt something shift inside my chest. They can't take the baby. They have no legal claim to this child. You're the biological mother, and the agreement they violated was the only thing that would have transferred your parental rights. What about Cade? It's his sperm. Cade would have rights if he wanted to pursue them, but given that his marriage to Christine is over, and he's not part of the current situation, that's unlikely. Most men don't fight for custody of a child their ex-wife's new boyfriend wants to raise. I walked out of that office feeling like a different person. For the first time in months, I had power. My phone started buzzing immediately. Christine. Maria, Mum said you left upset yesterday. We need to talk. Yes, we do. Great. Can you come over? Sean's making dinner and we want to discuss the birth plan. Actually, I think we should meet somewhere neutral. How about that coffee shop on 5th Street? Why can't you just come here? Because I said so. There was a pause. Christine wasn't used to me asserting myself. Fine. Tomorrow at 2. That night, Dad called. Maria, your mother is very upset about yesterday. You need to apologise. For what? For being dramatic. For making this situation harder than it needs to be. Dad, they gave away the baby's nursery to Christine's boyfriend. That's temporary. They'll work something out. No, they won't. Because I'm keeping the baby. Silence. What did you say? I said I'm keeping the baby. I saw a lawyer today. The surrogacy agreement is void. You can't do that. Actually, I can. And I am. Maria, don't be ridiculous. You can't raise a child alone. Watch me. I hung up and immediately got a text from Mum. Call me right now. We need to talk about this nonsense. Then Christine. Dad told me what you said. Very funny. Call me. Then Sean. Hey Maria, heard you're having some kind of breakdown. Christine's worried about stress affecting the baby. Maybe you should see someone. I screenshot every message and sent them to Ethan. His response came back in minutes. Perfect. Keep documenting everything. See you tomorrow to go over strategy. I put my phone on silent and went to bed with my hand on my belly. It's just you and me now, I whispered. For the first time since this whole thing started, that felt like enough. The coffee shop meeting was a disaster from the start. Christine walked in with Sean, both of them looking like they were about to stage an intervention. She'd clearly been crying. Maria, what is this about? Christine sat down across from me, her hands shaking. Dad said you're talking about keeping the baby. That's not funny. I'm not joking. Sean leaned forward. Look, I get that you're upset about the changes, but let's be adults here. This baby was always meant to be ours. Ours? You weren't even in the picture 6 months ago. I'm in the picture now. And I'm going to be this kid's father. No, you're not. Christine's voice cracked. Maria, please. This baby is everything to me. You know that. Then you shouldn't have blown up your marriage and moved your boyfriend into the nursery. That's not fair. My relationship with Cade was over long before. Before what? Before you decided to screw around while I was carrying your baby. Sean's jaw tightened. Watch how you talk to her. Or what? Maria, Christine said quickly, I know you're hurt. But think about what you're saying. You can't raise a child alone. You don't have the resources, the support system. I have more support than you think. What does that mean? I pulled out my phone and showed them a photo I'd taken the day before. Christine and Sean's belongings scattered around what used to be the nursery. I have documentation of everything. The broken promises, the changed arrangements, the fact that you moved a stranger into the space meant for this baby. Christine went pale. You're documenting us. I'm protecting myself. And my baby. Your baby, Sean laughed. Lady, you're a surrogate. That's not your baby. Actually, it is. I spoke with a lawyer. Your girlfriend breached our agreement in multiple ways. The contract is void. The silence stretched for a full minute. You're bluffing, Christine said finally. Am I? Want to test that theory? Christine started crying again. Maria, please, I'm begging you. This baby is the only thing I have left. You have Sean. That's not the same thing. You know how much I want to be a mother. Then you should have thought about that before you destroyed your marriage. I left them sitting there and drove to my next prenatal appointment. Dr. Martinez had been my OB throughout the pregnancy, and she'd watched the family dynamics play out in her office. How are you feeling, Maria? She asked as she measured my belly. Honestly, better than I have in months. Good. Your blood pressure was concerning at the last visit, but it's much better today. I've been less stressed lately. She nodded knowingly. Sometimes removing toxic situations from our lives has immediate health benefits. After the appointment, I stopped by the hospital to pre-register for delivery. The nurse, Kayla, was incredibly kind. Is this your first baby? She asked. Yes. Are you excited? Terrified, but excited. That's normal. Do you have support? Family coming for the birth? It's complicated. It might just be me. Kayla squeezed my hand. That's okay too. We'll take good care of you both. That evening my phone exploded with messages. Mom. Maria. Christine is devastated. How could you do this to your own sister? Dad. This is selfish and cruel. That baby belongs with Christine. Christine. I can't believe you're doing this to me, after everything I've been through. Sean. You're going to regret this. We're not going away. But there was one message that surprised me from Cade. Maria, I heard what happened. I'm sorry my marriage falling apart has caused you so much pain. If you need anything, please call me. I called him back. Cade, I'm sorry about everything. Don't apologise. None of this is your fault. I should have seen the signs that Christine was checking out of our marriage. What are you going to do? About the baby, I mean. Honestly? I think you keeping the baby is probably the best outcome for everyone. Christine's not in a place to be a mother right now, and I can't co-parent with someone who left me for another man. So you're okay with this? I'm heartbroken about my marriage, but yes, if you want to raise this baby, you have my support. Thank you. Maria. For what it's worth, I think you're going to be a great mother. Meanwhile, Christine was posting on social media like nothing had changed. Photos of baby clothes with captions like, can't wait to meet our little one, and counting down the weeks until our family is complete. I screenshot every post and sent them to Ethan. His response, She's building a public narrative that the baby is hers. This actually helps our case. Keep documenting. At 34 weeks, I got a call from Mum. We're planning to be at the hospital when you deliver. Christine wants to be in the room. That's not happening. Maria, be reasonable. She's the mother. No, I'm the mother. And I decide who's in that room. You're being ridiculous. We're coming whether you like it or not. Then you'll be waiting in the parking lot. I hung up and immediately called Ethan. They're planning to show up at the hospital and take over, I told him. Let them come. I'll be ready. What do you mean? Maria, it's time to end this. When you go into labour, call me immediately. We're going to serve them with papers right there in the hospital. Is that legal? Perfectly legal and very effective. 2 weeks later, my water broke at 3 a.m. I called Trinity first, then Ethan, then the hospital. I didn't call my family, but somehow they found out anyway. Trinity drove me to the hospital at 4 a.m, my contractions coming every 5 minutes. I was focused on breathing through the pain when my phone started buzzing. Christine. Mom called. We're on our way. So excited to finally meet our baby. How did they find out? Trinity asked, seeing my face. I have no idea. I only called you and Ethan. Hospital staff maybe. Someone who knows your family. Another text from Mum. We'll be there in an hour. Dad's bringing the car seat. I showed Trinity the message. They're bringing a car seat. Jesus. They really think they're taking this baby home. Kayla, the nurse I'd met during pre-registration, was working the labour and delivery ward that night. She took one look at my face and closed the door to my room. What's wrong, honey, besides the obvious, she said, nodding at my belly. My family's coming. They think they're taking my baby. Your baby? It's complicated. I was supposed to be a surrogate for my sister, but the agreement fell through. Legally, this is my baby now. Kayla's expression hardened. Do you want them here? No. Then they're not getting in. I'll make sure of that. At 6 a.m, I heard familiar voices in the hallway. Christine's laugh, Sean's loud voice, Dad's authoritative tone giving directions to someone. They're here, I whispered to Trinity. It's okay. Kayla said she'd handle it. Through the door, I could hear Kayla talking to them. I'm sorry, but the patient has requested no visitors at this time. We're not visitors, Dad's voice boomed. We're family. That's our grandchild being born. I understand, but the patient's wishes take priority. This is ridiculous, Christine said. I'm the baby's mother. I have a right to be here. Ma'am, according to our records, Maria is listed as the mother. If you'd like to dispute that, you'll need to speak with hospital administration. There's been a mistake, Sean said. We're the parents. We have a nursery set up. We bought all the baby gear. Sir, I'm going to need you to lower your voice. This is a hospital. My contractions were getting stronger. Trinity held my hand while I breathed through them. Should I call Ethan? She asked. Not yet. Let's see how bad this gets first. At 8 a.m, it got bad. I was in active labour when my door burst open. Christine rushed in, followed by Mom, Dad, and Sean. Kayla was right behind them, looking furious. I'm sorry, Maria. They pushed past me when I was helping another patient. Oh my God! You're really in labour! Christine rushed to my bedside. How are you feeling? Is the baby okay? Get out, I said, through gritted teeth. Sweetheart, we're here to support you, Mom said, settling into a chair like she planned to stay. This is such an exciting day for our family. Our family? Sean echoed, pulling out his phone to take pictures. I can't wait to post about this. Stop taking pictures of me. But this is the birth of our son, Christine said. We want to document everything. Your son? Well, yes. I mean, you're doing the physical work, but he's ours. Dad was already on his phone. I'm calling everyone. Aunt Ruth, Uncle Mike, the Johnsons. Dad, stop! This is the biggest day of our lives, Maria. Our first grandchild. Another contraction hit, stronger than before. I squeezed Trinity's hand and tried to focus on breathing. You need to leave, Trinity said firmly. She's in labour. She needs space. We're not leaving, Mum said. We've been waiting for this moment for months. Actually, we've been waiting years, Christine added. Ever since I found out I couldn't have children naturally. Kayla stepped forward. I'm going to have to ask you all to step outside. The patient needs... We're not going anywhere, Sean interrupted. This is our baby being born. Sir, if you don't leave voluntarily, I'll call security. Call them, Dad said. We have every right to be here. That's when I made the call. Trinity, call Ethan. Now. Maria, who's Ethan? Christine asked. My lawyer. The room went dead silent except for the sound of the fetal monitor. Your lawyer? Mum's voice was barely a whisper. Why do you need a lawyer? Dad demanded. Another contraction hit. When it passed, I looked directly at Christine. Because this is my baby, not yours. Mine. That's not true, Christine said, but her voice was shaking. We have an agreement. We had an agreement. You broke it when you left your husband and moved your boyfriend into the baby's nursery. Maria, you're being emotional, Mum said. Labour hormones can make you say things you don't mean. I mean every word. Sean stepped closer to my bed. Look, I get that you're in pain, but let's not do anything stupid here. This baby belongs with us. We're prepared. We have everything ready. Get away from me. Sean, maybe we should... Christine started. No, he said firmly. We're not backing down. This is our kid. Trinity hung up her phone. Ethan's on his way. He said don't sign anything and don't let them take the baby. Take the baby? Christine's voice cracked. Maria, what have you done? Before I could answer, another contraction hit. This one so strong I couldn't speak. When it passed, I looked around the room at their faces, confused, angry, desperate. I protected myself, I said, and my son. 2 hours later, I was holding my son. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, perfect in every way. The room had gone quiet except for his soft cries and the beeping of monitors. He's beautiful, Christine whispered, tears streaming down her face. Can I hold him? No. Maria, please, just for a minute. I said no. Mom stepped forward. Sweetheart, you're exhausted. Let Christine help. Nobody touches my baby except me and the medical staff. Kayla had been amazing throughout the delivery, running interference with my family while helping me through labour. Now she stood protectively near my bed. The baby needs to nurse, she said firmly. Everyone except Maria and her support person needs to leave. We're not leaving, Dad said. That's our grandson. Sir, I'm calling security. Go ahead, Sean said. We're not going anywhere. This is our baby. That's when Ethan walked in. He was exactly what I needed in that moment. Calm, professional, carrying a leather briefcase like he owned the place. He surveyed the crowded room and smiled politely. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ethan, Maria's attorney. Attorney? Mum's voice was barely audible. Yes, I have some documents that need to be served. He opened his briefcase and pulled out a stack of papers. Christine, these are for you. Christine's hands shook as she took the papers. What is this? A cease and desist order regarding your claims to this child, along with a restraining order preventing you from taking any actions related to the baby without Maria's consent. This is insane, Sean said. You can't just... Actually, I can. Ethan handed him another set of papers. These are for you, Sean. Since you've been making public claims about being this child's father, you're also named in the order. I don't understand, Christine said, scanning the documents. We have a surrogacy agreement. You had a surrogacy agreement. You breached it in multiple ways. The contract is null and void. Dad stepped forward. Now listen here. Mr. Gill, I'd be very careful about what you say next. Everything in this room is being recorded. Ethan gestured to a small device on the bedside table. Your daughter has been documenting your family's behaviour for months. Recording us? Mum looked horrified. Every conversation, every text message, every broken promise, including the conversation where you referred to Maria as just the incubator. Mum's face went white. That's taken out of context, Dad said. Is it? Because we also have photos of you giving away the baby's nursery to your daughter's boyfriend, recordings of you threatening Maria, and documentation of your attempts to exclude her from decisions about her own pregnancy. Christine was crying harder now. Maria, please, you can't do this to me. This baby is all I have. You have Sean. That's not the same thing. You know how much I want to be a mother. Then you should have acted like one. Sean moved closer to my bed. Look, we can work this out. We don't need lawyers. Sir, step back from my client. This is bullshit. We've been preparing for this baby for months. We have a nursery, we bought clothes, we told everyone. You told everyone about a baby that was never legally yours, Ethan said calmly, and you moved into a nursery that was meant for this child, displacing the woman carrying him. Maria, please, Christine begged. I'm your sister. We can fix this. I'll leave Sean. I'll go back to Cade. It's too late for that. It's not too late. We're family. Family doesn't treat each other the way you treated me. Dad's face was red with anger. You're being vindictive and cruel. That baby belongs with Christine. This baby belongs with his mother, me. You can't raise a child alone. Watch me. Kayla stepped forward. I need everyone except Maria and Trinity to leave now. The baby needs to eat and Maria needs to rest. We're not leaving without our grandson, Mom said. Ethan pulled out his phone. Hospital security is already on their way. You can leave voluntarily or you can be escorted out. Your choice. This isn't over, Sean said. We'll fight this. You're welcome to try, but I should warn you. Maria has an airtight case, and your behaviour today has only strengthened it. Christine looked at me one last time, holding my son. Maria, please, I'm begging you, don't do this. I looked down at my baby, then back at her. You made your choice when you left Cade. When you moved Sean into the nursery, when you called me an incubator, this is mine. You'll regret this, Dad said, as security officers appeared in the doorway. The only thing I regret is not standing up for myself sooner. They were escorted out, Christine's sobs echoing down the hallway. Sean was arguing with the security guards. Mom kept looking back like she couldn't believe what was happening. When the door closed, the room was finally quiet except for my son's soft breathing. You okay? Trinity asked. I looked down at the baby in my arms. Yeah. For the first time in months, I'm okay. Ethan packed up his briefcase. They'll probably try to contact you. Don't respond to anything without running it by me first. What happens now? Now you go home with your son and live your life. They have no legal claim to this child. After he left, Kayla helped me with nursing. You did the right thing, she said quietly. Did I? Christine looked so broken. She broke herself. You just refused to let her break you too. Outside my window, I could see my family in the parking lot, arguing. Christine was leaning against a car, still crying. Sean was pacing, gesturing angrily. Mum and Dad stood apart from them, looking lost. I closed the blinds and focused on my son. It's just you and me now, I whispered to him, and that's enough. 3 days after bringing my son home, I was sitting in my living room feeding him when Trinity knocked on my door. How are you holding up? She asked, settling into the chair across from me. Better than I expected. He's a good baby. And the family circus? I gestured to my phone on the coffee table. 47 missed calls since yesterday. I stopped counting the texts. Have you read any of them? A few. Mom wants to talk this through like adults. Dad says I'm destroying the family. Christine sent me a 5-page text about how I'm ruining her life. And Sean? He's been posting on social media about how I stole his son. Ethan says it's actually helping our case because it proves he has no legal standing. Trinity picked up my laptop from the side table. Speaking of social media, have you seen Christine's Facebook? No, why? She turned the screen toward me. Christine had posted a long status update with the heading, Betrayed by Family. I can't believe I'm writing this, but I need to share what's happening. My sister agreed to be a surrogate for me and my husband, but now she's decided to keep the baby for herself. She's using legal technicalities to steal the child we've been preparing for. I'm heartbroken and don't know what to do. Please keep us in your thoughts during this difficult time. The post had dozens of comments, most of them supportive of Christine. She's not telling the whole story, I said. Of course not. But look at this. Trinity scrolled down to show me another post from that morning. She's asking for money now. The new post read, Thank you for all the support. We're looking into legal options to fight for our baby, but lawyer fees are expensive. If anyone can help, we've set up a fundraising page. She's crowdfunding a lawsuit against me? Looks like it. She's raised $800 so far. I stared at the screen. Even now, Christine was playing the victim, making herself the centre of attention. You know what? I'm done being silent. I took the laptop and started typing my own post. Not on Facebook. I'd never been active there. Instead, I opened Reddit and found a relevant community. Title: I was a surrogate for my sister. She broke our agreement, so I kept the baby. Now she's telling everyone I stole her child. I wrote out the whole story. Every detail. The original agreement, Christine leaving Cade, the nursery being given away, being called just the incubator, the legal battle, everything. I included screenshots of text messages and photos of the empty nursery. I ended with, I know some people will think I'm wrong for keeping the baby, but I refuse to be treated like a rental womb, while my sister gets praised for overcoming adversity. This is my son, and I'm going to protect him. Are you sure about posting this? Trinity asked. Completely sure. I hit submit and closed the laptop. My phone rang almost immediately. Christine, Maria, take that post down right now. No. You're humiliating our entire family. People are sharing it everywhere. Good. Maybe they'll get the real story instead of your victim narrative. I am the victim here. You stole my baby. I kept my baby. There's a difference. Mum and Dad are getting calls from relatives. Aunt Ruth saw the post. Uncle Mike is asking questions. You're destroying our reputation. You destroyed your own reputation when you left your husband for another man while I was carrying your baby. That's not fair. Neither is calling me an incubator. Christine was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was different, smaller. Maria, please, can we meet? Just the two of us. I need to see him. No. 5 minutes, please. I just want to hold him once. Christine, you made your choice. You chose Sean over your marriage. You chose your happiness over everyone else's. You chose to treat me like I didn't matter. Now I'm choosing my son over you. He's my son too. No, he's not. He never was. You wanted a baby, not this specific baby. You wanted the experience of being a mother without doing any of the work. Well, I'm doing the work now. I could have been a good mother. Maybe. But you were a terrible sister. I hung up and turned off my phone. The Reddit post exploded overnight. Thousands of upvotes, hundreds of comments, most of them supportive. People shared their own stories of family betrayal, of being taken advantage of finally standing up for themselves. One comment stuck with me. You didn't steal a baby. You saved yourself. A week passed. The calls and texts slowed down. Christine's fundraising page was shut down after people started commenting with links to my Reddit post. Sean deleted his social media accounts. My parents sent one final text. When you come to your senses, we'll be here. I didn't respond. Cade reached out once more, asking if he could send a gift for the baby. I said yes. He sent a beautiful wooden rocking horse with a note. For when he's older. I hope you're both happy. Trinity helped me set up the nursery in my apartment. The real nursery, with the crib I picked out and the changing table I wanted. It was small, but perfect. Any regrets? She asked as we hung pictures on the wall. I looked at my son sleeping in his crib, peaceful and safe. Just one. I regret not standing up for myself sooner. But you did it when it mattered most. Yeah, I did. Outside it was starting to rain. Inside my son stirred in his sleep, making the soft sounds babies make when they dream. I reached down and touched his tiny hand. You're worth it, I whispered. All of it. And for the first time in my life, I knew I was worth it too.